Hello, beautiful people. It's a girl Genie and it's Genie's signature. So, welcome you all to my tutorial for today. So, the main concentration of this tutorial is going to be on this beautiful top, this stylish top. It's very beautiful, it's simple, it's classy, it's unique, and it's very, very easy to make. So, if this is what you're interested in, please sit back, relax, and enjoy it. And if you have any questions, please kindly feel free to leave it in the comment section. So that was the model, and this was what I made of it. So my client was not around to test it as at the time I did this, but she has collected her clothes and she loved it because it's exactly what she wanted. So now you can see that this top is not a tight fitted blouse, it's a loose blouse, like it's not tight fitted on the body, it's a little bit loose and it's very, very comfy. So this came out very, very beautiful. So like I said, I'm not going to be showing tutorial on how I made the trousers because it's palazzo trouser. So I already have detailed tutorials on how to go about that. So the main ALC, the main area of concentration for this tutorial is going to be on the stylish blouse. So if this is what you're interested in, please sit back, relax, and enjoy this ride because it's going to be detailed. You're going to be seeing it step to step, as in every step of the way. As I was going, I was showing it. So just sit back, relax, and if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a shout out. So let's get over to the cutting table. So now I'll be drafting these on my paper first before transferring to my fabric. This is just for us to see it very well. Not that I can't draft it directly in the fabric, but I just felt like my chalk would not be visible enough, so I decided to um, make the whole cutting on the paper so that I'll transfer to the fabric easily, so that we'll be able to see everything and enjoy the tutorial proper. So the first thing I did there is that I got my shoulder measurement divided by 2. I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and then I did my armhole curve. Just divide your bust measurement by 6 and then you had 1.5. That is how you get it. Or basically you can just divide your shoulder into 2 and then come down by the same thing. It boils out. I've been using that and it has always worked out for me. So now I just slanted my shoulder. So what we are going to be doing now is just to cut out like a basic princess dart bustier. So that is basically what I'm trying to do here. So if you don't know how to cut a princess dart bustier, please kindly check out my channel. I already have detailed tutorial on how to do the off shoulder one and then the one with the shoulder. So the one I'm doing now is going to be with the shoulder. So this is like a bonus. So I just got my bust point on the bust, waistline, and then the full length of the top. So for the full length of the top, it's going to be 27 inches plus 1 inch, that will be 28. Now I divided my bust part measurement into 2, and then I added a fan inch at the bust point area, and on the under bust, waist, and hip line, I removed the half an inch. That is why the line is like in a slanted format. I believe you get the drift. So now on the under bust, I'll just go in by 2 inches and the waistline and then on the hip line, and then I'll go ahead and connect all that together. Now this is just not like that's the only way you can do it. No, you can use 1.5, you can use 2, you can use depending on how busty your client is. So right there on the bust point, I came down by half an inch and then I carved out my bust curve like so. So I came to the shoulder measurement, the slants, to add my half an inch for the shoulder, and then I'll divide my armhole by 2 and then come in by half an inch. So from there, I'll just connect to my bust point like so in form of a curve. So now come down from my shoulder to get my shoulder that I came down by 1 inch, and I'll be connecting it to my nipple to nipple measurement at the middle like so. So this is just to tighten our sleeve area. So I extended the 1 inch out again. So all those places I'm shading is going to be cut out. So now I'll just go ahead and divide my bust by 4 and then add back any dart allowances and then my sewing allowances of 1.5 inches, and then I'll connect my arm opening like so. So the next thing for me to do, if you want, you can get your under bust measurement and then do it, but I would rather use the same bust measurement for my under bust. So I'll go over to the waist measurement, you divide by 4 You add back your dart intakes of 2 inches, and then you add your sewing allowances. And then you connect. And then you come to the hip area because the blouse is going to be going over to your hip area. You divide by 4, you add back the dart allowances, and then you add sewing allowances. So here I discovered that my paper was not enough, so I had to extend that. So add my sewing allowances. So I'll connect that like so. So the paper was still not enough like that. So I'm going to be joining another one by the side. So just join it like this, and then I'll cut it out exactly as it is. So this is what we have. So I'll go ahead and cut this out. So you can see that this is pretty much very easy. So if you follow the whole process, you're going to be getting exactly what I did, or even better than me, which I would really be happy about. So now for the neckline, I'll just come down by 3 inches. I did 3.5 inches initially for the neck width, and then I came down by 3 inches because this is going to be having a small yoke in the front. So for the yoke, I just came down by 4.5 inches, and I'll just roll that out on a straight line like so. So that will be serving as our yoke where we'll be placing our nets on the chest area. So we are basically through with the front piece, and I'll go ahead to cut this out. Just follow the process I'm going through, and you're going to be getting exactly what I did. So like I always say, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment section because I'll be ready to be there to answer to the best of my ability. Thank you. So this is our side, as you can see. So I'll go ahead and notch my underbust measurement so that when I'm sewing it, everything is going to be sitting properly as it should be. So I cut out the yoke because this yoke is going to be a neck the same fabric as the bodice. So these are the things we have. We've already cut out the front piece as it is. So this is what we have. Let me just open it up so that you get the drift of what I was trying to draft. So this is what we have. So I'll be setting this aside now so that I'll go ahead and cut the back piece. So for the back piece, I'm going to be cutting directly on the fabric because I just don't want to waste my paper because it's quite direct. There's no much serrating at the back. So just ensure that you have your zipper allowance. You go divide your shoulder measurements by 2. Whatever you did in the front is exactly what you'll be repeating right here. You get your armhole and then you connect the lines together like so. So for the neck depth, the neck width is going to be the same, 3.5. You slant your shoulders and then you add your half an inch for joining on the shoulder. So for the neck depth for the back is just going to be 1 inch, and then I'll connect it in form of a round neckline like so. So you come to your chest area and then you divide your bust by 4 and then you add your sewing allowances. You get the midpoint for the back and then connect your armhole like so. So you get your half length, this is your shoulder to your waist area. You roll that out and then you get your waist measurement divided by 4. You add 1 inch for that and then 2 inches sewing allowance and then you connect. So on the hip area, divide your hip by 4 and then you add your sewing allowances. So just connect all that together. So for the dart, you divide your bust span measurement into 2 and then you mark it from your chest line down to your hip line. And then you roll out a straight line right there on the waist area. Okay, from your hip line, go up by 3 inches. And on your waist area, you take your half an inch, and then you connect like so. So all this I'm doing on this fabric is what I'll be repeating on my lining. I'm just doing this because of the sake of the tutorial, because all this is supposed to be done on the lining, because that's where I'll be sewing the darts. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove the bulginess of the zipper from the back. So go in by half an inch inside for your waist, and then you cut that out. So you can see that this is pretty much very easy to achieve. So just follow all the protocols and all the guidelines, and you'll be getting exactly what I did, or even better than what I did. So if you have watched up to this level and you have not yet subscribed, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Let's build it up together. Encourage your girl because it's not easy. So thank you. So we have our back pieces, as you can see. So the next thing for me to do right about now is to go ahead and cut all this on the front piece, and then I'll be back to show you. So I've gone ahead to cut all this out. As you can see, I've cut out the lining as well. So I'm showing you all the pieces one after the other. That's the middle piece, and then this the other side piece with the lining as well. So for the net part, the yoke, I'm gonna need to cut out my yoke. I cut out two because I'll be lining it with the same net to make it thick. I don't want a situation whereby the net is going to be tearing. So I'll go ahead and join all this. But on the main fabric, I iron ST. This ST is just to give it stability because I don't want to pad it. If you want, you can pad yours, but I just don't want to pad it. So I decided to use that ST to give me that look that I want. So I'll go ahead and join all this, join the yoke, and then I'll be back to show you. So I've gone ahead to join it, and this is what we have. So you can see the way it's looking. When my client wore it, her breast is going to be sitting in that cup. So don't worry, I made use of a white and black ST. So the next thing to do now is to get that design that we have at the lower part of the blouse. You know, that curvy look that is in front of the blouse. That's what I want to show you before I go ahead to do what I want to do. So like I told you, this tutorial is well detailed, so you can see the curvy part at that part. So that's what I want to achieve right now. So from my bust, from the that area, I went in by 2 inches. So these 2 inches is not like a sacrosanct, but that's just what I felt was going to be good enough. So I made use of 2 inches because that design is going to be running from the shoulder down to that line. And then I went up by 7 inches to get the slit for that part. So I'm going to be using my armhole curve to create that curve that we have in that design. So just place it the way I'm placing it. I placed it like this at first and it was not giving what I wanted, so I had to place it again for this side. So I was just trying to check it to ascertain how it looked. So I had to make it wide, as you can see. So I'm going for the second line. So I'll go ahead and cut this out now. So you can see this is what we have. So this is what we have. So whatever I did here, I'll be repeating it on the lining because I'll be using my lining to turn this. So I've gone ahead to join my lining as well, the way I joined my fabric. So I'll flip this to the other side so that I will see what I'm doing properly. So arrange it very well in a way that you know that it's properly aligned before you go ahead to cut this out. So just go ahead and trace this thing out like so. So that you can see what we have. So this is what we have. So the next thing for me to do now is to place the lining and the fabric right sides facing each other, and then we're going to be going over to the sewing machine to run this and turn it over with the lining. So I'll place it like this, right sides facing each other, and then follow my hand like so and then sew it. And then for the net part, push the net inwards, let it be sandwiched between the lining and the main fabric. And then you're going to be running the stitch across that place to hide the stitches. So this is the back piece. So when I had to turn it my lining and I've done my dart, as you can see. So I'm probably gonna have to do the same for the front piece, as you can see. I'm gonna have to turn it with the lining as well, and I've given it a press here, so you can see how neat it looks inside. So the next thing for me to do is to join the shoulders, join the front and the back pieces together, then join on the shoulders by half inch, and then close out my. I will not be fixing the zip now, I'll just close it out. So I've gone ahead to do that, and this is what we have. So the zip is going to be the last thing I'm going to be fixing. So you can see that our clothes is coming out very beautiful. So the next thing for me to do now is that I'll be attaching the sleeve before I'm going to go further. So I'll go ahead and cut out my sleeves right about now before I'll use my velvet ribbon to adorn it. So now I folded my fabric into two, and then I want to cut out the sleeves. So for the sleeve, I already have detailed tutorials on how to cut out. It's like an A-shaped sleeve, so there's really nothing so difficult about it. That's why you can see that it's in a fast forward mode right here. So I didn't want to be too repetitive because I already have detailed tutorials on how to cut this. I have several tutorials on how I made an A-line sleeve, and you understand, so just do well to check that out. Thank you. So now the next thing to do, I don't want that place to be too pointed, so that's why I just like slanted it like so. So now the next thing to do is to get the slits that we have on the sleeve area. So I'll just go up from there by about 7 inches for the slit for the sleeve. So we have our two sleeves ready. So this is what we have. So I'm going to be cutting a lining and turn it out, and then use my velvet ribbon to adorn it, and then I'll be back to show you how I achieved that. So you can see I've done one sleeve and I've used the velvet ribbon to tie it at like a bow, because that's how it was on the models. So this is one sleeve. I just did it off camera. So I'm going to be showing you how I achieved that bow on this one. I've gone ahead to use the ribbon to sew it all the way around as well, as you can see. So the next thing for me to do is just to get the ribbon part. So I cut out 6 inches in length. I cut it two pieces. So I'll just be folding 1 inch inwards like so, or 1.5 inches inwards on the two distance, and then cross it against each other like this, as if to form a tie or to form a bow like this. It's quite easy. Then you place it on that point where you want to place it, and then you take it to your sewing machine and then go and run it on it. Use your pin to hold it down first. Then you go and run it on the four edges right there, like so, just to put it in place. So that's how I achieved that. So I'll go ahead and do this and then fix it on the fabric, and then I'll be back to show you. So I've gone ahead to do that, and this is what we have. I fixed the sleeves. So now the next thing is for us to do the last thing, or the second to the last thing before the first thing before the zipper. So I'll open my clothes like this, my fabric, and then bring in my velvet ribbon. So right there on the shoulder where the net is, and the net is in between the sleeve and the shoulder, you're going to be placing this velvet ribbon on it like this, and then you're going to be sewing it. And when you're sewing it, you get to that place where we have that slit, and then you're going to be running it like this. And then you follow the direction of my hand like this, and then run it to the other side. You take it on this other side as well, and then run it like so. So that's basically what I'll go ahead and do. After doing that, and then I'll use my ribbons to adorn it on each point as I was pointing it like this. So after that, you fix your zipper, and then you're good to go. So let me quickly do that, and I'll be right back to show you. So I've gone ahead to do that, and this is what I did. I believe you understood what I explained earlier. So I've gone ahead to fix the ribbons the same way I fixed it on the sleeves. and the clothes came out looking beautiful. Don't mind the direction of the flowers on the fabric. I made a mistake when I was cutting it, but it came out really nice. So if you enjoyed watching this tutorial, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share. And like I always say, this is Genius Signatures, and I was signing out. See you all. Bye.